In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the Pleiadians. So this is a great video for anyone who's felt drawn to learn more about Pleiadians, felt like they are a Pleiadian starseed. And I'm going to help you in this video understand more about what this means and even provide instructions to demonstrate how you can find out really if you are a Pleiadian, which is super cool and interesting. So keep watching. So if this is your first time, though, I want to take a moment and start off by introducing myself and letting you know a little bit of why I have interest in sharing these videos. I am a certified galactic astrologer. I am a channeler and a trance channeler. I channel a multitude of different beings. And I'm noticing a collective theme that we are all being encouraged or inspired to learn more about our galactic history and our essence. So, in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Pleiadians and their origins of sense and what that means for you now and what that means for the future and where we're going. So, let's start off with why am I sharing this? So, in my channeling and connections for clients, there is a lot of information coming forward that is pointing us in the direction of understanding ourselves. The reason why is I believe, and if you are here, you may resonate with this as well, that like so many have spoken of, the world is in a very transitional phase between now and 2027. And this is because it's believed that the journey of the earth is coming to a place where we are going to have first contact, disclosure, things of the things of this nature. And we can already see that some of this is beginning to play out and sort of trickled through the media. Now, if you are in this transitional time, and this is something that's happening. What is being prompted by spiritual practitioners, intuitives, and channelers, such as myself, is that now is the time to start educating yourself on your history. Because if we are in a position where the government's going to say, hey, there's life out there, what that means for your life, if you don't have the understanding and a resonance within yourself, it's easy to believe what is sort of being sold to you. So there, I feel like, is an amplification of information coming out. Now, this video will be the first of a series that I'm going to be doing, and my guides inspired me to start with the Pleiadians, which was not a surprise because a lot of times you'll find when people are talking about first contact and things to come, they speak of the Pleiadians. In my own personal channeling, I've received information that the contact experiences, both personally and as we look on a global scale, will be very much associated with the Pleiadians because they will be a galactic race that will be easy to be received and feel non-threatening. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. So let's dive in a little deeper. So we're talking about the Pleiadians. Well, to understand what it means to be a Pleiadian starseed, which I'll talk about that term here in a minute, but to understand what this means, we kind of have to understand where it's coming from. It's not a matter of I am this thing, but it's understanding that galactic heritage, which is why I tend to not really love the term starseed, and I prefer using galactic race, galactic heritage, because this is part of your essence. So let's talk about it. Now, I have a video I'll share. You can check it out here. I'll link it above that discusses a little bit more about what I believe the origin story is for creation and the first physical incarnations. This video here, and this will be the second one I would suggest if you're curious to learn more, is where I share what the very first physical vessels actually were, which were Lyrans. And I share in that video how this began began the journey of incarnation and the story of ultimately that led to human expression, life on Earth, this planet, and that we are all connected and originate in genetics from the first incarnated galactic race, which is Lyran. And it's interesting to share, but often people find that they see what they feel is Palladian, but actually they're connecting to Lyrans. That's another fun, a little fun note. So let's go in a little deeper of the history of the Pleiadians. So if you want to kind of pick up where I'm starting, I'd suggest to go watch those videos, but I'm not going to share them in here. So where I'm going to start is that after the Lyran, not after, but amidst the Orion and Lyran wars, what we have is there was a group of Lyrans that chose to seek out, you could say, refuge or go to places that were sort of out of the crossfires of the Orion Wars at the time. And that meant there was a group that came to colonize Earth. And this was very, 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 very early Earth. We're talking major primitive human DNA genetics that were present at the time on the planet. Now, these beings came, Lyrans came here and attempted to live, be, colonize. But in doing so, they found that the density of the planet was a little hard to navigate. And so, since the Lyrans were already very interested in genetic manipulation, which you can watch in the video I mentioned, and learn more about that. But what they did is they decided to sort of mix their genetics with the DNA of very primitive Earth genetics within their own. And so from this, what came from it is a genetic line that would later be known as the Pleiadians. Now, at the time, you can kind of look at this as these were Lyran Earth beings. You know, the genetics were in that nature. The point is you're taking galactic genetics and you're sort of adding this denser Earth frequency to influence the evolution of what would then come to be. Now, as time went on and the wars got closer to the solar system of Earth, ultimately, these Lyrans decided to leave and find another place to colonize, which they went to the star, the star system or the constellation, various stars in the Pleiades. And from there, that's where they colonized and continued their journey, ultimately then being known as the Pleiadians. Now, in my video where I talk about the Lyran genetics, I shared that there are 4 different genetic strands that have come to be and the different expressions of what we associate with various galactic races. Now, for this particular Pleiadian genetic, it was, I want to say it's Ahal, I think it's Ahel, if I'm spelling that correctly, but I'll link it in the description. But basically, this was a very pale, fair-skinned blonde genetic line that was actually Lyran. So here you can see why I said in the beginning, it's interesting too, because sometimes what we associate as Pleiadian, the energy signature actually isn't Pleiadian, it's Lyran. So knowing the distinction between these two genetic lines is exciting and fun to me because it helps us to understand when we're having these experiences what energies we're actually engaging with, because a Lyran frequency is very different than a Pleiadian frequency. So here we can see that We are, in fact, in our human form, our genetics, we are cousins to the Pleiadians. We are connected. And so, with this, there is also an added interest, you could say, not only with, Pleiadians, but equally so, Lyrans and many races. But the Pleiadians are like that of our cousins. And so, when we're talking about things that are related to where the earth is going, how we're evolving, how we're shifting, and really kind of coming into this embodiment of being a galactic civilization, the Pleiadians have invested interest in our journey. And so they are amplified, I would say, especially now with people channeling, talking, releasing information to assist in transformation and to assist in evolving our consciousness to reach a place that can be supportive of the journey that we're on. Okay, so that being said, let's talk a little bit more about some of the characteristics now of the Pleiadians. And as I share these, just keep in mind their journey. Feel it into yourself. You may see if you resonate with some of these themes. You may, in fact, be connected to the Pleiades and have past lives that are Pleiadian. And so, a couple themes I want to cover is. For one, is the Pleiadians have they're very heart centered, very, very heart centered, a passion for connection. This energy I kind of associate with the green ray a little bit. So, anything associated with Archangel Raphael. So, connection to one another, connection to plant life, connection to heart based energy. I would definitely say that is a big characteristic. Another characteristic of their journey is in this heart centered frequency, especially earlier on, there was this passion to assist and to help in the Lyran Wars. So it kind of had this energy that was, yes, let me help you out, let me be an advocate. Yet part of their journey was in realizing to some degree, at times, this was to the extent of putting themselves or pushing themselves into providing guidance or suggestions that were not well received, and they kind of weren't meant for them. So part of this is the Pleiadian journey, and part is recognizing that we're all individually on our own journey, and that it's important that while we can show up authentically and be who we are, it's ultimately up though to the individual, the civilization, the person, whatever it be, to follow their own journey and to not overly insert or intervene. Now, part of this quality also for Pleiadians can be they can have an energy frequency where they feel they know better, that it can have sort of this almost enlightened from a place of I understand, I know you should, perform, be this way. So there can be a stubbornness to this quality. And as I'm channeling and I'm connecting to the Pleiadians, and if I pause while I'm talking, just know I'm receiving information. When I'm feeling this energy they want to be shared is it is in a place of you might be loving in it, but it can, especially earlier in their journey, come from a place of, while well intended, I want you to behave how I want you to behave because I know what's best and I know how to get there. Once again, though, this bypasses the individual journey. So, for stopping here, pausing here for a moment to just kind of digest the information already covered, is those that resonate with the idea of being Pleiadian starseeds. You may see these themes in your own life. You may feel frustration and feeling that your guidance is not heeded. You can feel as if you want to help or influence, but yet you can have themes of frustration. There can be a journey. You may have gone through hardships in your life that encourage you to evolve to the understanding that being of assistance doesn't mean doing the work for them, doesn't mean pushing, and going more from a heart-centered energy of allowance and trust in the right time and the right moment to share. And also, there can be what I'm hearing equally so a theme of balancing from being like, well, I'm just not going to share. I'm just not going to speak because they're shut down. Well, when you're doing that, you're not honoring the heart center, which I'm hearing them say is a key element or essence of the journey. Now, the other thing they're prompting me to share is when we're talking about various lives and we're talking about things such as I'm a Pleiadian starseed, what they want to be understood, whether it is for their race or any other, is when you have a galactic heritage, meaning I have had a past life here, therefore they are my ancestors. They are of my genetic nature. They want you to understand that all that was is now. Now, just because you may or may not be able to easily access those in any given moment, still there are key elements of themes and patterns that will most likely continue to play out in various lives or physical incarnations. Thank you for sharing that. I'm just tuning in. The other thing I want to share for Palladians is a lot of people can talk about them in aspects of, oh, you're very techy or technology is an interest to you, futuristic. I do feel like there's sort of an energy that wants to come forward. That they're saying that yes and no, meaning that often when we're talking about when we're I'm laughing because I feel their frequency and their energy. And it feels almost, I'm feeling that sense of like we know energy is coming through, which is why I'm laughing. Um, it's kind of like what I'm feeling they're showing me is it's like you can say that these are these things, but the Palladian then is no different in the sense of what we would compare, like, let's say a human from the 20s isn't going to represent a human from 2000. There's going to be a difference in priority, a difference in interest, a difference in frequency, how they're showing up. So a big understanding of this is that, and why I feel like they're inspiring me to share some of these videos and channel this information, is some of the information out there connected to star seeds is outdated, is what they're saying. And they're saying that it is important to understand that they are simply consciousness evolving as we are consciousness evolving. And it doesn't stop. Like it's not like this is what the Pleiadian is, this is their little bubble of expression, and it stops. It's evolving just like we are evolving, just like little Lyran genetics are evolving. There's evolution. So what they want to be known right now is that yes, there was a time that you could say that if you were a Pleiadian starseed, you're interested in technology, you're interested in advancement, you're interested in futuristic, but that is not the core essence. What they want you to know is what is more accurate is that they are future forward in evolution, meaning that they are, whether it be through technology, communication, energetics, there is a future forward and evolution forward because part of their journey and realizing has been an element of surrender to ever-changing nature, but in learning to look at this from a place not of fear, but as enthusiasm. And I wonder what will happen next. I wonder what we'll process next. Now, they do want me to share, though, also that they are quick processors. And I can say from personal experience that when I go back and look at my videos where I channel the Pleiadians versus other frequencies, there is a quickness and directness to it. So as a relatable aspect, you can say If you have Palladian genetics, you might be the person that's watching videos really fast. You might be the person that wants to digest things quickly. I'm hearing them say also you might be fast readers. But in general, they have a capacity to receive and what's the word they're saying? Transcribe information quickly with high, what's the word they're saying? With high like high when you retain it, like a high absorption rate. But an ability to not only move through it quickly, but absorb it quickly, retain it efficiently, is what they're saying. So if you have these aspects, this is equally part of what you may experience. Now, also, some of the challenging other aspects they want to share, though, is there can be a theme of journeys around people pleasing. There can be journeys around expression of feeling misunderstood. I'm feeling in the sense that they're being such heart-centered. There can be they're pausing me because there's a very specific way they want me to share this. What I'm feeling is there can be themes of frustration related to being able to easily access, retain high frequency information, but also having this very emotional side. It's almost like it can feel like these at time can be at odds with one another. There is a big part of them they're saying that is mission based, is for once that they're saying again, future forward. There is this essence, but there's also part of, and they're showing me the genetic and what I shared, the two, the Lyran and the Earth. This is why they real oh, okay. This is why they relate to the human experience because there is this natural higher embodiment of high intelligence, but it's having to be alchemized and balanced between the more dense frequency of emotion, of feeling, of experience, of connection. Oh, and I'm feeling a lot of heart chakra energy activation right now. And I feel like what I'm feeling is they're giving me a feel, a glimpse into the weight of this. I'm also feeling that there is a desire to be understood with mixed with the frustration of not being understood. Um, and I'm hearing this is especially this is especially, and this is where they're saying evolving, we're evolving, there needs to be new information. They want it to be known, especially the where we are now. Those that are being awakened now with Palladian aspects about them, there may feel a especially tenderness around knowing because you may feel that you can't articulate your knowing. You may feel your knowing frequency is opening at a rapid pace that is beyond sort of the quick integration that you want it to be with the human essence. And I'm asking them to simplify it. Help me simplify this down. This is what they would say. Some of you that are awakening, especially now, the earth is in a time in which you are coming in towards the conclusion of certain shifts and at the beginning of new becomings. Because of this, time feels of the essence. Therefore, many will quickly come into that Palladian energy, quickly come into knowing. And with that, there may be less time to integrate into feeling comfortable within this new skin. This may look like, they're giving me points, feeling things that are intense because you are accessing higher aspects of your intuition. Two, difficulty or frustration around articulating or expressing because your brain is coming into unlocking gifts of these qualities that are having difficulty to keep up with your human vessel essence to be able to articulate because you're sort of like quantum jumping into new reality. Three, feeling like you can't move quick enough, process quick enough to, and it's like they're just showing me wheels spinning, spinning, spinning. You are moving so quickly, but you feel as if you're going nowhere. Understand you are. It's just you are coming into access of these qualities quickly. So time feels slower in a sense, to the degree in which you wish to, oh, got lots of energy, the degree in which you want to process. Thank you. I'm also being inclined to share another reason why a lot of people are coming into having genetic activations and learning more of these qualities of their galactic ancestry is because it is a very, 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 very real thing to understand what the physical body goes through to be able to hold a frequency. Now, this is something I've experienced firsthand. This is something that I've seen people when they are connected to me during trance channeling, and they feel this excessive high feeling like you can barely hold yourself up and you just feel like everything is euphoric, but you can hardly focus and concentrate. What they're feeling is the contrast between where their vibrational level is versus the energy I'm connecting that they're connecting to. And one of the reasons why trance channeling has been an experience and a journey and potent is because when you are connecting in that form, you are connecting firsthand, telepathically, energetically to that energy frequency. So if it was the Pleiadians, you're connecting firsthand with their vibration. Now, if you're in a vibrational level that isn't able to hold that frequency, the experience is more taxing to your vessel. You may feel tired, like you need a nap, that your energy is drained. I know there are records, if you are fascinated by first contact conversations, there are records. I think Dr. Stephen Greer might talk about this, but there's records or information about government officials being in the presence of extraterrestrials and passing out because they're not able to hold the vibrational frequency. So why is this relevant? Because if we are moving into this direction of being a galactic nation, being in contact of these beings, Pleiadians being the first to sort of be received, the population, the greater we are able to energetically harmonize somewhat to their frequency, the easier the process will be. So as we individually are coming in contact with our remembering, we are unlocking those aspects. We are raising our vibrational frequency, and we are then collectively contributing to the increase in vibration of Gaia. And we are assisting in coming into more harmony of where we are evolving and growing. Okay, I feel like they're saying that is all that they want to share. Um, the most relevant for right now that wants to be understood is understood. Okay, now, as I said, it's one thing to talk about this. It's a whole nother thing for those who are like me and appreciate sort of like affirmation. I want to show you how you can pull your galactic astrology chart because one thing I've realized when we're learning about the various galactic races, there can be, and there will be, a nuanced expression of beginning to understand these aspects, just like I shared in the beginning. Physically, you may be having contact experiences and you feel like you're connecting to Pleiadians, but it actually might be Lyrans or vice versa. And another thing is I can share the Pleiadians frequency, but also, for example, the Hadarians are another race of galactic beings that are very heart-centered, but their skills, their gifts, their journeys are totally different than what the Pleiadians is. I'll give you an example because actually, interestingly enough, my guide said the Hadarians are the next galactic race they would like me to cover. So let me give you a brief example so you can kind of see why this is important. For example, if you are Pleiadian genetic, you have Pleiadian heritage. Some of the themes I shared would be possible journeys in this life. You may be learning to regulate emotion. You may be learning frustration when people aren't receiving guidance. You may be learning to take a back seat and sort of share the information, but allow yourself to detach from the expectations of what they do with it. Those may be some of your journeys. Heart-centered is very key. Now, the Hadarians are also extremely heart-centered. Their expression is different. For them, for example, if you're a Hadarian starseed, themes in your life that may play out is wanting connection, but wanting a connection from a place of understanding unity and oneness. The Hadarians were explorers, and often it can be said that the Hadarians have a missing for home or seeking for home or wondering where home is. But in my channeling and my client sessions, what I've come to recognize they've shared is they said this isn't accurate. It's in seeing home in everything. It's in this understanding of connection that constantly wants to reach to expand the circle of awareness, expand the circle of community, of family, because we all are connected. They're also very connected to land and animals. So for them, this could look like someone that is very heart-centered, but they're very much connected to nature. They're very much feel at peace and home in land, where Pleiadians might not have that same expression per se. So there's these differences. Now, a soul can be both of these, and they will both then be possibly expressed in one lifetime. But it's fun and exciting to understand because when you connect and understand these aspects, you're unlocking that remembering. You're unlocking those gifts. For example, one of the gifts of the Hadarians is that they shift dimensions. They were time travels, portal work, things of this nature. I personally have a lot of Hadarian questions. I'm not surprised that I'm a trance channeler. I've been described as a portal or a doorway, and people experience that energy in different ways. So, where a Pleiadian, they may have a goal more where in this lifetime they're working towards showing up anyways and sharing anyways, knowing that it doesn't matter. They can be the coach, the speaker, the presence, but detaching from what's done with it. Okay, so how can you find out your galactic heritage? So now galactic astrology was introduced by Julia Velaz. I'm not going to go too much into this, but I'll link a video here. If you want to learn more about galactic astrology, I've recorded a video that talks about it. I'm just going to share a piece of it today with you to show how you can pull your chart and see firsthand where you have had connections possibly to these galactic frequencies, specifically since we are speaking of Pleiadians. So I'm going to show you how to pull your chart. It is free, and I'm going to give you information that on your own, you can look at it and walk away with, oh my gosh, like not only do I resonate with Pleiadians, but here it is. How cool is that to see that there's this tool that shows, in fact, I have had past lives as Pleiadian. So what we're doing in galactic astrology is we're basically looking at the natal chart information, and then we are pulling a chart that is your astrology with the additional layer of looking at the constellations and the fixed stars. So let me show you. I'm going to share my screen. This is the website you want to go to in order to pull your galactic astrology chart. Here you can see galacticastrochart.com. I'll link this in description. You're going to go to where it says free reports, click on that. And what we're looking for is where it says free report. Now, as a certified galactic astrologer, my charts look very different than the free version. So it is, if it is something that resonates with you, a galactic astrology reading is super neat. And I'll share a little bit more about that with you towards the end of the video. So for house system, I like the Placidus. And I'm just going to enter in some random information. We'll see what comes up. Maybe it'll have Pleiadians, maybe it won't, but either way, you'll get the point. Let's say Miami. Um, Okay, now you're going to put in for you, you're going to change this, I would suggest, to the Placidus. You're going to put in your information here. If you do not know your birth time, just to kind of give a little information, all of my sessions that go into galactic astrology include a complimentary session if you need to find out your birth time. It's a short little session where I can get on a call quickly with you to discover what your birth time is to accurately pull your chart. I'm not going to talk more about that just to kind of reduce too much rich information. Okay, so here we go. Once you enter the information, which would be your date of birth, time, and location, you'd hit generate birth chart. Now, the important part I want to tell you is I personally like to click the button that says show trine, sextile, square, and show degrees. And then we're going to hit where it says generate extended report. Okay, now you can see this there. There's a lot more information here. Now I'm going to quickly scan the random information I put in. Does not have Pleiadians, but it does have Lyra. So this is the same information that you can apply. But basically what you're looking for is you're looking for placements that would say conjunct or opposite. So for example, here you can see there's a placement to Lyra that is conjunct. Now, this means in most all cases I've had, whether it's conjunct or opposite, that there has been some form of past life there. So in this example, to Lyra, you can see there's a conjunction. So if you have that, it means you have had a past life on Lyra. Now, if you were to pull up a chart and you see Pleiades, actually, I'm going to put my own information. I'm going to give my age away. Ooh, I am 45 years old. My birthday's April 7th. I'm an 80s baby, last of Gen X. Okay. 651. I'm going to do this just so you can see. I believe, let's see, will it show up in this? I believe that the chart will show Pleiades. Yes. Okay, so I have not incarnated on Pleiades, yet I have Pleiadian placements. So that would be if, like, for example, here you can see square, and here you can see square. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3 connections here to Pleiades. Now I'm going to just give you a fun little taste that can help you understand a little bit of the rich information that can be unlocked with understanding your galactic astrology. So for example, a square placement would notate something that does not feel comfortable. Now with me, here in my particular placement in astrology, this is in my 11th house, which is representative of the community, the collective, what you're sharing in a larger scale, like collective energy. Now, a square often notates karma or trauma or something not comfortable that doesn't always feel good, which is interesting because after my spontaneous awakening, I was pretty much spoon-fed people saying here and there, crossing my path, hey, have you ever considered this? Hey, did you ever look at this? Hey, check out Dolores Cannon, trying to get me to explore galactic concepts. And I was like, no, thank you. It was not at all within my wheelhouse or comfort level. So, but here I am channeling, and here I am channeling the Pleiadians that are sharing a message that is saying, hey, we're collectively transforming. This is important. And ultimately, this placement with especially Jupiter, which is expansion, is part of that quality. So it's been something I've had to grow into being comfortable, but it is a part of my journey through this Pleiadian connection to share collectively these gifts and abilities to help others come into recognizing their authentic nature. So I'm going to stop sharing now. That's just a little taste of that. So I'm hoping at the end of this, you feel like you have an idea of what Pleiadian energy is, what it might mean for you in your life being a Pleiadian, and there's been some aha moments hopefully in this. If you do want to explore more, understand more, I would suggest definitely subscribing, hit the bell to be notified of my videos. I'm going to be releasing more on various galactic races and frequencies because, as I said, it is important. And if you want to dive deeper into your own experience of evolution, you can do so in two different ways. You can check out my discovery session, which introduces galactic astrology and Akashic record reading of your soul's journey and themes. We talked about patterns today, some of the things that might repeat if you are a Pleiadian in this lifetime. We explore all of that and so much more. Or if you want to experience, as I talked about, that high frequency of connection, you can consider booking a trance-channeled session with me where we allow whatever galactic frequency wants to come through to personally speak to you and provide guidance. These are very energetically potent sessions. These are great for those who don't care about the charts and the logistics. They're like, Cassandra, just get to the point. What do I need to know? Who am I connected to? It's a express route, I would say. For those that just want to get to the meat of things, a trance-channeled session is great. You can check out either of those in the descriptions or pinned in the comments. And with that, I will say goodbye and thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like and share the video. Maybe you know somebody that you're like, hey, I think this person might be a Pleiadian. So yeah, until next time, bye.